Hey guys, what's up? Alex here. Welcome back to another video. This is Project Cars once again, and after doing my F1 versus IndyCar video, I was really interested to see around Daytona which was actually quicker, a NASCAR or a IndyCar. It may probably seem a stupid question if you watch most of these sports day in or week in, week out. You probably know the answer to this one already, but for someone who doesn't watch especially NASCAR every week, I do watch IndyCar most weekends, but in terms of NASCAR I don't manage to catch most of the races, even though I am interested in it. Before anyone else slates me for that, I do actually enjoy both of the motorsports, but I was interested to see what was the difference and how fast was the IndyCar, how fast was the NASCAR around Daytona. Now I could be wrong, I don't think IndyCar races around Daytona. Of course NASCAR does one of the most famous races on the calendar, but I don't think IndyCar actually races around Daytona. I think they race around some, obviously, the ovals in America, but it's predominantly NASCAR that does the ovals, because obviously IndyCar now mixes with the road courses. So I was really interested to see a car that was obviously designed specifically really for an oval, the NASCAR, and then compare that to an IndyCar which was sort of based halfway house, where it has to do a bit of both, really. It has to do the best of both worlds. I know NASCAR does race on road courses. I probably will get some comments if I don't mention that. I do know that they do road course events, but it's definitely not like the even split that it is in IndyCar. If anything, I think IndyCar now does majority of sort of road courses, you'd say, in comparison to circle tracks where it used to. So I was surprised, not gonna lie, I was surprised about the difference between the two. This is obviously coming from a novice in the field of IndyCar and NASCAR, really. I don't really have much experience at either of them, so I was really interested to see what the difference was. But yeah, it was quite surprising. You can see we're 1.5 laps in and the IndyCar is already 10 seconds ahead of me. I'm currently in the NASCAR class, the leader is over 10 seconds ahead of me in the IndyCar class. So, of course, I did not expect such a big difference between the two. I know that might sound stupid, but I kind of thought, I see NASCAR on TV, see IndyCar on TV, they both just look extremely fast, but then when you put them sort of side by side next to each other, I think you really do see how much quicker the IndyCar is in the oval setup, at least. I mean, I suppose around the road course as well, you'd say the IndyCar will definitely be quicker, but I think what people love about NASCAR, please correct me if I'm wrong, NASCAR fans, I think the thing that people love about NASCAR is just the incredibly close racing, lap after lap after lap. I'm sure some people are there for the crashes as well, but I think the thing with NASCAR is that you're pretty much always going to have a great battle somewhere down the field. There's always going to be someone running side by side. With IndyCar, with the increased amount of road circuits at least, I would say that there's not as much side-by-side racing. It's still incredibly good. I think IndyCar is, in terms of just great racing, probably above Formula 1. Probably most people would agree with that, especially if they are big fans of IndyCar. But I'd say there's more genuine racing, there's more likelihood it's going to be a different winner week in, week out, whereas obviously Formula 1 you're struggling to see past 3 or 4 drivers to ever get a victory in a season. So it's always interesting to compare, and hopefully you guys don't hate me for this little comparison here. It might seem very obvious to some people, others it might just be an interesting little comparison, but something I thought about when I was doing this right now is I just have so much respect for anyone that has to do lap after lap on these ovals, because you must have to have some incredible concentration, because I only did 8 laps here and I was still, you know, you sort of struggle because it's like the same lap after lap, but you could just do a tiny little difference and that loses you. It could even be like tenths of a second. It's how mad it is. You feel like it's flat out. It's flat out in 4th gear in this NASCAR. But you look, I've even on them in a slipstream with this guy in front. He's still pulling away from me, and this isn't even on one of the best AI levels. So I just thought a really interesting comparison here, and it really put sort of into perspective for me how hard it actually is to drive an oval. That sounds really stupid, but when, I don't know, NASCAR races like 200-300 laps sometimes, you've got to have respect for them. They do so much, I'd assume, like concentration training. Maybe not so much fitness training, because of course, you know, there's not as many corners to do, but there's of course insane G-forces going through these corners still, and they must have some pretty tough sort of testing on themselves there to try and make sure that they can concentrate for, like, sometimes NASCAR races have gone for like 4 or 5 hours, but I think generally they're about 2.5 hours, so still longer than any Formula 1 or IndyCar race. So generally, I'd say you've got to be very, very passionate about NASCAR to be able to stick through a whole race, but at the same time, as a driver, you've got to be very dedicated to learning how to race in NASCAR, because in a lot of ways it's very, very unique. There's not that many series around the world where you sort of need this sort of concentration and this sort of skill of being that consistent lap after lap after lap, because if you lose a toe, it could all go very badly wrong. This probably just sounds so stupid coming from someone that doesn't watch NASCAR week in, week out. I did go through a phase of really loving NASCAR and trying to watch every single race. I think it was like 2012, 2013. You guys were seeing it on the channel because I started to do like race previews, that sort of stuff for NASCAR, even though, I don't know, I obviously wasn't really the right person to be making those sort of judgments. So you'll see in this little race here, I try my best to use the knowledge I saw in that sort of solid year of trying to watch NASCAR, but it is so hard to follow from the UK. IndyCar is sort of respectable because you can watch it on BT Sport, which luckily I do have. But I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think NASCAR is actually on any UK TV, even a subscription service like live. It just makes it really tricky to follow because, of course, I don't know, if it was cheap enough I probably would actually go and buy it because I just love watching any sort of motorsport. And of course, I'm sure some people that watch my Formula 1 content are going to be like, no, you can't like NASCAR whatsoever. I just love watching any sort of motorsport. And sometimes NASCAR has some of the most incredible races. Like, honestly, I guess they do have like 40 races? Like 35 races I think they have in a season. Of course, there's more likelihood than there's going to be a great race in there than there is Formula 1 because there's twice as many races to do so. But still, you've got to admire the drivers. Of course, they might not be like your idea of like a superstar driver, someone that's extremely skilled, but in their own right, they really are. They really are. Also, just to point out, how have I completely lost these two cars? They suddenly just like went off like they're in a completely different league, which is quite confusing to me, but it's the way it goes, unfortunately, and we couldn't keep up with those guys to finish off this one. But we're on the last lap of this race here, and I found it interesting, really found it interesting. So over 8 laps, we lost around about 40 seconds to the IndyCar, so that's like 5 seconds a lap on or around Daytona, which is obviously not the longest track in the world. You're seeing 46 is 47, so we're losing substantial amounts of our time on this track here, like a ninth of our lap time per lap we're losing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, a little comparison between NASCAR and IndyCar. Let me know what you think. Do you prefer a particular series? Are you more of a NASCAR fan, more of an IndyCar fan? Would be really interested to see your comments down below, guys. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below whether you'd like to see more comparisons like this. Would you like to see some online footage? I'd really like to actually do that. I haven't thought about that, but I think I should get onto some online. I think it'd be great to get some of you guys involved in the series. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and see you guys around soon. Goodbye.